Hey everybody, Eagle Run 23 here. Let's talk about triggers on Glocks. We'll start off with this is the one that we just finished. This was the FDE lower that was a part of this build where we ended up going with green and FDE. Really like this gun the way that it is, but we went ahead and did the frame. But I think I'm gonna leave this one on there. But we're gonna talk about triggers. Let's take a quick look at this trigger. This is a 100% stock Shadow Systems trigger, and it is not bad, not super squishy, but leaves a little to be desired. We can compare that here with a 100% trigger from 80% arms. A lot of creep, quite a bit of take up there. Reset seems a little long, but it is a little more crisp and less spongy, so that's something. Now here is one of my favorite triggers. This is one from Tyrant. You can visibly see that this is an upgraded trigger, but the mechanisms inside of it are also upgraded as well. We have a nice little staging there that feels a little more definitive, and then more of a crisp break, not very much sponginess, but I very much like the shoe, and I very much like that ultimate break at the end. Definitely super clean for the Tyrant trigger. If you want to check out Tyrant, I do have a code for them. And let's compare that here with our little Glock 26. This is an Apex trigger. You can see it has an upgraded shoe here. You can tell it looks aftermarket. Very solid pull there, not spongy. When you find up against that wall, it just breaks. The first couple times I shot this gun, I actually wasn't ready for it to go off. Very crisp, clean action. This gun is fully finalized and very much like the Apex, but I also very much like the Tyrant as well. So we have a package here that showed up from Tyrant. So we have an extended mag release, and this is machined instead of being a plastic part. Pretty great. Fan of that. So we also wanted to upgrade our slide release, and Tyrant has a nice little machined piece on there that is easy to feel, looks great, feels great. Looks like it's probably riveted or maybe screwed on there, but thinking that will be nice on there. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then I don't know how or why, but I am missing the mag release spring for this gun. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if I was short or what, but I went ahead and ordered an entire Tyrant branded, and this is the spring that we're missing to make our mag release work. Let's talk about triggers and what actually makes them feel and function a little bit better than other ones. These are from Ghost Incorporated, and they sell what they call a 3.5 standard trigger. They want to relate these with a number so that it's universally understood that this is lighter than this or heavier than this, but it's not necessarily like a pound spring like what you would traditionally think of. You can tell the Ghost ones because they are, they do have their logo on them versus a standard one. So let's talk about how this trigger actually works real quick so that we can understand where we need to make upgrades. As your trigger is pulled, this actually slides down on this angle. It slides down, and that's what causes your firing pin is hooked right here. And so as this trigger goes down, it releases the striker. So we want this action of sliding down on this piece right here. So what actually causes a difference in the way things feel is the angle in which this back bar is set. So some of them can be set greater and greater and greater, and that would cause them to be a little bit lighter and lighter as they go across. There's also a couple of other springs. This spring sets inside the housing and the trigger bar. And so this spring also has some to do with the feel of it. Not a bad idea to upgrade, and you can pick up one of these kits. I'll have a link for this stuff below. We do have an upgraded trigger housing spring in here. This kit, a couple of different springs, a 4-pound and a 6-pound, and these are actually what go around your firing pin. the striker. So they say that a 4-pound is for target competition and a 6-pound would be more reliable primer strikes for more of a self-defense situation. What I don't know is when you're buying a aftermarket, either P80, 80% arms, some of the slide kits have springs from Shadow Systems. When you're buying those kits, I don't know what spring they're putting in there. I would hope that they're doing a 5 or a 6, just from a reliability standpoint, but it could be that they're some of them are lighter and that causes them to feel and react and break a little bit differently. So this one here from Ghost, we're going to install, and this right here is the action of it sliding down on those two surfaces touching. So you do want to make sure those are nice and smooth. The Shadow Systems bars always feel nice and smooth. This is what kit from Tyrant feels nice and smooth. This one here from Ghost, since this is an upgraded part, make sure there's nothing weird or anything sticking up, no burrs, and there's nothing wrong with polishing right there if you wish. So as we look inside here, we can see some of these things happening as well. It is difficult to replicate it because it doesn't pop up the same way as it slides over. When it goes across the slide, it allows it to pop over and then come back up for the reset. We can simulate that a little bit right here by pushing our slide bar forward, and then we could see that this is your trigger bar goes back into your trigger housing right there, and as the trigger is pulled, we can see that this goes down. That down action right there, as it actually goes down, that is what catches here on the back of your firing pin. That spring pulls it forward and strikes your primer. Even as I first put together a handful of these in the very beginning, I didn't fully understand all of the mechanisms that were happening here that were creating the actual trigger action. But as I've put together several of these now, I've really looked into it, and I've been able to focus in on where actually the points of contact are and how they interact with each other. This spring kit here actually comes with one other spring, which is interesting. It is a part of the firing mechanism, but this little plunger right here is actually part of another safety mechanism inside the Glock design, and it prevents your firing pin from going forward until everything is completely closed up. And it's a spring that is a part of the process, and they have an upgraded spring part for that as well in that spring kit. I don't have a way to test those springs to know, but I guess you just kind of upgrade it and see if it feels any different for you. All right, so check out some of these cool bits here from Tyrant. I'll have a link below for you. And if you have any questions, let me know. Eagle Run 23, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.